Sport. Why sport? I'm often asked, why sport? I usually reply something along the lines of because sport can and does encompass all life. It has drama, comedy, pathos, heroes, villains, usually in claret and blue. It has got controversy in buckets. It's got all of life and it's real. The follow-up question that is usually offered is, why Speedway? Now, I'm pretty sure that we can all come up with answers as to why not Speedway, but I have to say that as well as all the previously mentioned attributes in sport, Speedway has the ability occasionally to make your jaw drop to the floor and you turn round to your fellow supporter and ask, well, did I really just see that? Now, Speedway can also send you home absolutely depressed and angry. Ask any Birmingham, Brummies or City fan, or indeed Bellevue and Sheffield fans from yesterday. And they'll give you a million reasons as to why it makes you depressed and angry. And then you get a match like last night at Birmingham and everything just seems fantastic. Only in Speedway. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Welcome to the Speedway Tavern, everyone. So-called studios sponsor us. Thank you very much. Was that for me or for So-Called Studios? Many thanks to them. We'll talk more about those later, I think. It was a great meeting last night, wasn't it?
It certainly was. Can I first of all just say, I got there fairly early. Obviously, I'm work on the hospitality team now at Birmingham now, and I have to say that, thank you to everybody that got involved in that. There was a massive turnout in the hospitality and VIP area yesterday, the biggest we've had so far this season at Birmingham. And then a lot of first timers all really picked a great night to come, really, didn't they? In fairness, in terms of the quality of the racing. But I was there about 4 o'clock. The track looked fine, and then about 6 o'clock the heavens opened, and my word, did they open!
Yeah.
To be fair, the track was pretty much half of it was underwater. So big shout out to the track staff. They did a great job to get that to get the track fine. And even in the early stages of the meeting, you could see, although the track was wet, it was rideable and it was raceable. So, and we had some terrific racing. So, well done to the guys on that one. But really good meeting. I think there's a bit of momentum now with Birmingham, especially at home.
We won 2 back-to-back. When was the last time we could say that?
We was asking that, weren't we? When was the last time Birmingham won two matches at home back-to-back? Never mind 2 matches anywhere back-to-back. So a really good result. Yes, I think there's an argument that Ipswich were probably vulnerable. Decimated into a team.
We should acknowledge that.
Yeah, no Absolutely. Jason Doyle, no Danny King and Adam Ellis, who all ride Perry Bar well. And so that would have certainly made Ipswich, and possibly Ipswich are going to be there again next Monday. How many of those are going to be back, we don't know. But you can only beat what's in front of you, and Birmingham, it was close throughout the meeting. Ipswich did well to keep it as close as they did, but you just felt that once Birmingham got a bit of a head of steam,
they hadn't got enough Emil Seifutinov.
Yeah, I have to say Emil was fantastic last night.
Wow, he really was.
Probably the race of the season between him and Tom Brennan. I was actually on the centre green for that race, and that was a great vantage point to see that.
You thought Emil had done him.
He made an awful start. In fairness, he literally did fall out the start. But within half a lap, he was
into second place.
On the second place there. And
actually, if anybody that didn't see last night's meeting, go to the Brummies website, and that race is actually
I will go and watch that one again, because I'd love to see that from the conventional angle, if you say, rather than from the angle I saw it at. But fair play to Emil as well. A lot of the top riders. There's always that been that adage of the top riders don't just go through the motions a little bit when they're British, but when they're riding in Britain, Emil Seifutinov certainly
he threw
absolutely everything at Tom, and a really mature ride off him to sort of to get the better of him. Just clever switch back up the inside, and 2 riders that gave each other plenty of room as well. There was no sort of running each other right out to the fence and things like that.
Yeah.
And
both teams, you have to say, it was all done in. Nobody gave an inch.
Yeah, it was a match ridden in great spirits. I think really, and I think you've got to take it and say credit to Ipswich as well, because they were decimated, but they still made a meeting out of it. And that's probably one of the reasons why, along with Sheffield, they're favourites to win the title.
Yeah, absolutely. Who we're riding against on Thursday. Hey ho. Can lightning strike twice? Well, we've got a few comments to go through, so shall we make a start?
Right, okay. There are too many guests. Should only be guest for number one rider, says Clive Whittier.
Right, I mean, that's an interesting one, but then if you've got Adam Ellis injured, just using the Ipswich as an example last night, you got Adam Ellis injured and you got, remind me who else was gone? Danny King injured. What do? Do you put a reserve in? Well, Ollie's going to turn up to watch that.
That's the problem.
Yeah,
I mean, the guest rule is often derided, really, isn't it? And it isn't ideal, but I suppose in a lot of ways it's a necessary evil.
Yeah, you can't turn round and say that you shouldn't have guests without saying how you're going to replace it.
Yeah.
You just, cause
the only way you would do it is by promoting team riders from your junior team, but that ultimately that's going to
or have some sort of squad system, I guess. But there's not enough riders as it is, so how are you going to get a squad on the go? I don't know. Yep, next.
Thanks to everyone who ensured the meeting was on after the deluge, just before 6 p.m. Meeting was cracking, lots of close racing. Brummies rode great and not a good win in the closing stage and aggressive point in the superheat. Close junior racing in the second half. Big crowd too.
It was a good crowd.
Ipswich bought quite a few, to be fair. I mean, it's a long haul, even on a bank holiday, it's a long haul away from Ipswich over to Birmingham. So
yeah, fair play to them. Duncan Pemberton says, I got a feeling there will be an extra 100 plus back next week. Fast Freddie's back. We should talk about that.
Great to see him back in British Speedway, albeit it's obviously I would rather be riding for my team if we were running, but it's going to be great to see him back. It's been quite a few years now since Freddie last rode in the UK, and he will give Birmingham that real edge at number one, because he's a rider that I always like to see, you always want to have a rider in your team at number one. You can put your money on going out and getting a dominant win in the first heat, and Freddie's more than capable of doing that. I think he's obviously been very keen to come back.
World number two, of course.
Yep, he's not had a great start to the season, and I think a lot of that probably is maybe not riding enough. So it's going to benefit him, and it's going to benefit Birmingham as well. And of course, we're all going to wait now and see who Birmingham,
as it's just been mentioned,
to replace in the team, to bring him in.
Fred Graham says, who do you think the Brummies will drop to bring Freddie Lindgren in? Well, I mean, they were all riding for their places last night, and you got the feel of that, I think. I mean, I don't know. I'm glad I haven't got that. I mean, everybody's made that choice much more difficult after yesterday.
My gut feeling would be that it's going to be one of the two poles that will make way. Primarily for a cost thing, it's going to be very expensive to be flying Freddie in, and also flying in two riders from Poland as well every week. So,
but then you have Victor Lampert that performed really well yesterday.
Yeah, he's really starting to come on, isn't he? He's starting to show why Birmingham were very keen to bring him over.
Yeah. It's a difficult one.
It's a nice headache to have in a way, but in the same time, it's a horrible headache to have, isn't it? So.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to be Sam Ermolenko at this point in my... Well, actually, I would quite like to be Sam Ermolenko, but that's beside the point. So we got a few more people. Fred Graham, Pete Clark, we don't want to know about your crack, thank you very much. Dave Twine, Rich Thomas, who says now he can't hear us. He needs to go and see the doctor. We've caught up. That's fantastic.
There's one there actually. One incredible comeback by Ipswich to beat Kings Lynn last Thursday after being 14 points down.
Absolutely,
great recovery. Yeah. And in the end, Kings Lynn have obviously had a terrible start to the season, but they'll be obviously pleased to have taken a point about it. But out of that meeting, especially against the local rivals, but I think when you're 14 points in front and you don't win the meeting at home, you're a bit disappointed, aren't you? So.
I would have thought so.
Yeah.
Well, we should also mention there was two other meetings on last night.
Yep.
Bit of shenanigans going on at Bellevue.
Yeah, just a bit. I was talking to somebody there last night who'd come straight from Bellevue, wasn't happy at all. A lot of anger really about that meeting there. So it'd be interesting if anybody was there, if they get any post of any of their views on what happened on on the comments.
I mean, all this year's focus within the league has been, due to Phil Morris's input, I guess, about becoming more professional, becoming more of a product.
Yeah.
Things being the same from whichever track that you go to, you know how it's all going to work, because it all works the same. And my understanding was that they sort of got the meeting on, tootled it on. Really, it didn't start at 12 o'clock, which was its advertised time. I mean, I don't know whether there was any mitigating circumstances on that, like crowd waiting to get in or something like that. But I've heard nothing. Yeah, that's not good. It should be starting on the time that it says on the programme.
The advertised start time is 12 o'clock, so if you get in there at 2 minutes past 12 and the racing's underway, then you can't really have any complaints because it tells you on your ticket what time the meeting starts.
But if you get in there at 11:45 and you still haven't seen any speedway or 20 past 12...
Well, this is one thing where Birmingham have obviously been very good at, and Wolves were always very good at as well. If the weather was a bit dodgy, they would just go. They wouldn't have a parade. They'd just go straight into the meeting. Just give the names of the riders, give the teams out, and then just go straight into the action at the start. And that's what you need to do really, because if you know that you're going to be under scrutiny from the weather, if the weather forecast is a bit dodgy.
I mean, I hesitate to say this because obviously, I wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm a Brummie fan, but we did a good job yesterday. We got we got a meeting. I think we delayed it by 15 minutes. I think in the end, but the information was out there all the time. People, Ryan Guest was talking, saying this is going to be delayed by 15 minutes. This is why. I mean, everybody could see why. And then we got the meeting on, and it was bang, 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 bang. In fact, we got it on so well, we were still able to run a full second half as well.
Yeah. It doesn't cost anything to keep the crowd informed what's happening, does it?
No.
You got. Sometimes I've been to many meetings in the past where there's been virtually no announcements at all, and I think maybe some of these promotions clubs just forget that there's a terrace full of people, or a terrace with people on, maybe not necessarily full, of course, but you've got paying spectators who've paid good money to come and watch, and you need to keep them informed as to what's happening. And Phil, I mean, obviously we had Phil Lanning on the show a couple of weeks ago, and that was one of the things he raised, is having dead air at
yes,
Speedway. You
dead
can't
air
have
is
that.
not good. We didn't have any of that. Apart from just trying to get the thing on.
Yeah.
But again, even during that time, there was quite a bit of coming in from.
I've got to say, at 6:10, I didn't think there was a chance of that meeting being on.
No,
because it was absolutely hammering it down.
I saw it come down. I thought, oh no, I'm going to be on the track now trying to get this up, and it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But fair play to all the lads. We were determined that was going to, and didn't the track?
It rode well.
Didn't it hold up well to all
that? It
that?
did ride well.
And yeah,
you think about all the problems that Birmingham have had in recent seasons with the track, and particularly during the Masons years. I mean, if that had happened during the time when the Masons were there, this isn't a criticism of the Masons, by the way, but there's no way in a million years that meeting would have gone ahead.
No.
They've done a lot of good work on the track over the last couple of years.
So I suppose what we're saying is, come on, Bellevue, you've got a great track there.
Yeah,
get your fingers out.
It's disappointing. I mean, you think, Bellevue often got sort of criticised during the years when they were at the dog track, didn't they, for being a bit amateurish and sort of, and that from what I've been told, that seemed to have been a bit of a throwback to that. They've got to, you need to be making sure that you keep people informed and things like that,
and then inform them with the correct information. Mr. Lemon made a statement, I wasn't there, I have to hasten to add, so I'm only going by the reports that I've heard, that he made a statement suggesting that maybe that the reason it was called off was because the medical staff had asked for it to be called off.
Yeah.
Possibly not, and then he retracted it.
Yeah.
After the event.
Make sure you get your facts right before you start. Stuff like that.
I mean, we all say things in the heat of the moment, and I guess that was one of those.
Yeah.
But, Simon Corbett on YouTube. Yay!
Well done.
It says, discussion riders priority. There's not many false stops in here, so I'll give it a go. Holder's wife has baby, missed Sheffield riders for Lublin day after in Poland. Oh, I got it. Baby missed Sheffield. Rides for Lublin day after in Poland. Kurtz missed for Bellevue at Oxford. Then rides in the World Championship qualifier. Now says he could be out. I don't know what to say about that.
There's always that word, isn't it, that we've used many times, perception.
Perception,
unfortunately.
Yeah. Right, there's a few comments. Yeah, I mean, that does on the face value of it, none of it sounds great. But obviously, we're not here.
We weren't there at the end of the day, so we don't know the full story.
Yeah. Elliot Hunt says, I think Pavlichki is going. His average drops to under 5 points, so he is not proving the money we are spending to keep him. I mean, it's a possibility, and that, I mean, that is a fair point. That he's, but when he drops to under 5 points, where's he going to be in the team? Might be a useful place for him to be.
Might be, yeah.
Yeah. So there's that's it. Leicester dump Drew Kemp and bring in Craig Cook. Strange move. Discuss. Well, of course, Craig Cook's been going great guns.
Yeah, that's a great start for Workington.
So somebody was always going to
take a punt on him.
Yeah, absolutely. So. Leicester seem to be doing okay, so I'm not sure they needed it. And Drew Kemp hasn't been setting the world on fire recently, has he?
He hasn't had a brilliant start, has he? But
I tell you, somewhere he rides quite well.
Berry
Bar. Just a thought. Clive Woodier Janowski, why has he been so poor? That's a good question.
He hasn't had a great couple of years, has he, to be fair, unfortunately, for Magic. Obviously, he lost his place in the GP. He hasn't been doing great guns in the GPs, has he, the last couple of years? Lost his place. I think there was big expectations of him coming back to racing in the British League, but so far he's not quite at the heights that people thought we all assumed that he would, because there's no doubt he's a quality rider. He's proved that many times.
Answers on a postcard, I guess, for that one. But yeah, it is a puzzle. Maybe he just doesn't suit British tracks. I mean, that happens.
Well, it's been a few years. It's been about 10 years since he rode over here. So, but
Dave Twine says a Brummie has had 25 races home and away. He has won one race, simple, and he has forgot to turn his fuel on. I wonder who he might be talking about.
Yeah. I'm under the impression that if you do that in Poland, you get fined.
If
you turn your fuel on, because it seems a bit of a basic thing to do, but it's amazing the number of riders who forget to do it.
I mean, he's not the first one that's happened to. Let's be honest about it. He certainly won't be the Duncan Pemberton, I appreciate the Leicester track was well tyre packed due to the inclement weather, but it was a bit of a bore fest. Shame. Cookie, good signing. Don't judge him on last night's slick show.
Yeah. They just can't seem to get it right at Leicester, don't they?
Well, we can't really criticise too hard. We've been there.
Yeah.
It's not one of my favourite tracks to go to, I have to admit, other than it's quite close to get to from here. This is an interesting one. Andrew Garner, after reading Lee Complin's bit in last week's Speedway Star, seems harsh on him getting a 20-month ban and £2,000 fine for taking ibuprofen for a dental condition. Maybe the authorities should put on their website what you can and cannot take for the aches and pains. Well, I would imagine that the information is provided to the riders of what they can and can't take is the first thing that I would have to say about that. It wouldn't necessarily have to be put on a website.
Yeah.
It is a hard one, though, isn't it?
It seems to be harsh to me.
There's something in ibuprofen, I presume, which is on the ban list.
Or, all the riders really are. I think, as far as I'm aware, the riders are all made fully aware of what's on the ban list.
But of course, if you're in pain, and we've all had pain in the dental area.
Yeah.
That's a hard one. It is harsh.
Yeah, sometimes worthwhile just checking with someone first. I think maybe it's someone at the Speedway Control Bureau.
Yeah, but if you're in that sort of pain, you just go, keep me.
Anything.
You know, So, I well remember when I had a tennis accident not that long ago, and I basically did the splits on the tennis court. It wasn't I'm never doing it again.
No.
I'm never going to get that image out of my brain.
I have never hit such high notes.
I did today.
And
I
then
did today.
it took 3 hours for the ambulance to get to me.
Yeah.
I was in a lot of pain, and the paramedic said to me, "Right, what can I do for you?" And I just said, "Give me all the drugs, all the drugs. I want them all now."
Yeah, my wife was like that when she had a baby.
Clive Woodier, are these Polish worth the money? Some are and some aren't, I guess. I mean, I don't know. It's a difficult one, isn't it? I don't know what money they're on. Duncan Pemberton says, watch Waffy's little video of his opinion of the Bellevue promotion. We have seen that.
We have just seen that, Duncan. Yeah. So it's,
if we get a chance, we'll pop a link.
As far as I'm aware, Ty was actually out working on the track as well. Because from what I've been told, Sheffield wanted to get the meeting to carry on. It wanted the meeting to carry on. So.
Well, I mean, they won by. We've got to say well done to Sheffield, by the way, going to.
Yeah,
Bellevue.
they did. I have to say, I didn't foresee anybody going to Sheffield
I've
and,
just
and
looked
winning.
at
So
the prediction, and I don't think anybody did.
no,
so.
nobody did. No, I think a couple might have done. So.
Probably me.
Yeah,
Probably not.
Our
I've seen where you are in the charts.
our new leader I think went for Sheffield to win. So not by 10 points, but
We'll talk about that in a moment.
It's surely more serious than that, says Craig Smith, regarding.
Well, it's one of them that you've got to. A rule is a rule.
yeah.
We've complained about them changing, bending rules and stuff previously in the past. So, but it is
I've told
harsh.
the story before, haven't I? That was what happened to Sean Moran in 1990. He took something as a painkiller, and obviously he, from what I gather, he did actually check beforehand, and he was told, "Yeah, you can take it," and then was phoned afterwards. He was called back afterwards and said, "No, don't take it." And it was too late. He'd already done it, and of course, he ended up riding all the way through, finishing second in the World Championship. And of course, he had the silver medal took off him. So, whether they would have took the gold medal off him, because of course, remember he lost that world final in a runoff in 1990. So that would have been very.
So
I don't know if you want to go.
I'll go back on YouTube again. Ennis Rawlins has said, if the promotion can afford it, I'd drop Worrell for Freddie. Before we go any further, I'd love to hear some opinions from some Leicester fans actually about this business with Craig Cook coming in. How they feel about that. Do you want to go back to that YouTube and we'll discuss that. I'd drop Worrell for Freddie. I mean, a lot of people would have said that before yesterday's meeting.
Stevie Worrell's not had a great start, but he rode very well last night. That was
really
definitely his best. I think maybe he was one rider who knew that he was under a bit of scrutiny. So
he rode really well. It was his sort of track last night. I think
it was. Yeah,
there was, and that's the sort of track we need to provide. I think. So maybe the weather did us a favour in that regard. Simon Corbett, if Pavlichki and Janowski get dropped on low averages, they will be snapped up straight away. That's probably true. That's probably true.
Yeah. We should say, by the way, best wishes to Jason Doyle. I have seen footage of that crash to the air Kingsley, and it was a really, really nasty one.
Yeah, so Brian Reeson's been highlighting that.
Yeah, that's what I say,
yeah. Pete Clark. Good luck, Pete. If anyone wants to or has some spare time on Sunday, we have to clean every fence panel, kickboard throughout the stadium and lay sheets. Sheets, yes.
Yeah, the kickboard certainly is a key one, because obviously being on the centre green yesterday, you can of course it's the whites of the kickboards that sort of guide the riders as to how far out they're going, and of course midway through yesterday's meeting they weren't white.
No,
they certainly weren't white. They were brown. So with all the mud, so it's paramount that they are kept as clear as possible. And obviously, I can see plenty of the track staff that were getting out there during the breaking breaks and trying to keep them as clean as they possibly could. So.
Okay, right. There's a fair few coming on. Okay, where we go? Ooh, wow. Yeah. Okay.
We'll start on that one.
Okay, so we've spoke about Jason Doyle. Is one of the worst crashes that he's seen at Kingsley for a while. I haven't actually seen the crash, so I'll have to hunt that out. And Elliot says we've got to clean the pits as 2, it was messy at the end of the evening. Food and drink is provided. Well, there you go.
Yeah, they do look. I know you're obviously on the staff, but they do look after the staff well at Perry Bar.
Absolutely,
don't they?
yeah, they do. So they should. We work bloody hard.
So you keep telling us every week.
Alan Appleton, Speedway needs to respect and look after fans that treats them terrible.
It has.
I mean,
it has done in occasions on the past. I don't think anybody can deny that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was an own goal, I think, by all accounts, from Bellevue yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody wants to come up and say different, then that we've got it wrong, then by all means, all views are respected. Talking of Workington riders, how good is the young new Aussie lad? I won't try to pronounce his name. I do know how you mean. I won't try to pronounce his name either. Only a matter of time until the Premiership teams start chasing him. My understanding on that is that he's advised by Darcy Ward, and Darcy Ward's advised him not to go into the Premiership this year.
I mean, there's been comparisons with Darcy Ward, hasn't there? So, I mean, to be fair, Darcy was a bit of a one-off, wasn't he? I mean, he came in, it was straight away, but he was banging in 14, 15, 16s.
He was a very
Take Zish, obviously, is the rider who's certainly made a very, very big impression at Workington so far.
Say that again?
Take Zisk is his
there you
name.
go, well
obviously,
done.
we need to...
I think Premiership teams will be chasing him, but I'm not sure whether they're going to get him, as my information. Rich Thomas says there is a list as long as your arm of what's allowed and not. Is that not the same sport over?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. So.
Yeah.
Went to Bellevue, should never have started. Raining when we arrived. The track was very heavy.
That's what I was told.
Yeah,
the track was extremely heavy. They should have...
They should have started it on time for a starter.
But it's not asking too much, really. Just to you need to have a big parade and everything like that. If it's already raining, just get on with it.
Yeah. The poles are good, but their best equipment is in Poland, says Dave Twine.
And I think they are somewhat pressured by their promoters in Poland as well to not ride when they don't want them to. So.
I'm not reading Duncan Pemberton's...
Splits on tennis court, new balls, please.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah. And if you can all have a think about your ride of the week as well, which
of course,
will accumulate at the end of the show. Thank you.
Yeah, I've got it, that. Okay.
From the meetings that you have seen, whether it be on TV or whatever.
Yeah. Fred Graham, as a Glasgow Tigers fan.
That's a great name.
Glasgow Spiders.
The Spiders from Bellevue.
As a Glasgow Tigers fan, we need the SCB to be more, and then that's not transparent enough because I can't see it, to be more transparent on their decisions. Then it will be clear why, as we only hear what the riders are saying. I mean, from the point of view of in the Premiership, I think the SCB have been pretty transparent, don't you, this year?
They have been. They've definitely improved. I think that's one thing you've got to give Phil Morris a lot of credit for. There does seem to be more of a transparency as to what's happening. People say, this is why we're doing it.
There's more information getting out to the
Not
fans.
what seems to have happened in the past is we're doing this, why? Because we said so.
Yeah,
so.
It's in the best interests of the sport, is what they're
not the best interests of one club, which has been insinuated in the past.
Congratulations to Ben Clifton as well, you fool.
Yes. Oh, yeah. How did it go, Ben?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Are you still married?
Are you still standing? The things on the banned list won't have anything to do with Speedway authorities. They will be set by WADA and UCAD.
They will be, yeah. It's not the Speedway Control Bureau's call. It's goes above them. So they are dictated by others. It's the same with any other motorsport as well. So. And Freddie won the Swedish Championship.
He's just won that, yeah. Well, so we have the Swedish champion riding for Birmingham now.
I'm trying to think how many Swedish Championships he's won now.
All of them?
Yeah. Not all of them. He's won 2 or 3 of them, I think, so...
Leon seemed very annoyed by his Heat 2 spill. Did he just slide off, not adjusting to conditions quickly enough?
He's having a bit of a tough time at the moment, isn't he, Leon?
He was upset. I heard his scream of anguish.
Yeah.
Because he knew he was in a good position. That's why he was... Yeah, I think
He does. He has on occasion, I think, beated himself up a little bit, hasn't he? Really, Leon. You know, I mean, he did the same thing when he was riding for Wolves. I think sometimes there were times when he just found it a little bit tight, a bit of a struggle at Monmouth. So, but I mean, Birmingham obviously as a track, I think has always suited him a lot better than Monmouth Green ever did.
I think I've seen enough of Leon this year to think that he's heading in the right directions.
Yeah.
You know, he still hasn't got that consistency that he's aiming for.
Yeah.
Darcy spent at least a season in the second tier, says Ben Clifton. Pretty sure he lived in what? Thank you. One of Buster's caravans. Thank you for the translation. In one of Buster's caravans at the track, and basically practiced every day the track wasn't in use. Okay.
Yeah, you had a lot of access to Kingsden then, didn't you?
You did, yeah. Craig Smith says Connor Mountain.
That's ride of the week, yep.
Yeah.
Tom Brennan, Pete Clark, that's a good shout. Certainly that ride last night in Heat 11 against Ambleside Thursday night.
Ben's too worn out to type much. Okay. Yeah, it took me a little time to get there, but Connor Mountain was at Oxford on Thursday. Anthony Bailey, so this is another good shout. Emil last night, 19 from possible 21, takes some beating, or 22 from 24, including the superheat. He was. So last night I took to a Speedway meeting for the second time. My fiancée, as she is now.
Yep.
So every time she's on 100%, we've never lost a meeting when she's been in attendance, by the way. So I'm thinking of charging. But after I said, how did you like it? She said, yeah, it was okay. She said, but they had one rider that was head and tails above anybody else. So she's second only meeting, and she spotted it, you know, straight away. And he was. All of his passes, all of his moves were fair, and you know, he just waited for his opportunity.
Big scores in succession. I can remember one rider years ago.
He was in over half the heats as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I remember one rider a year ago getting two 15-point maximums and an 18-point maximum in 1 week. I'm trying to think. Oh, it's the current Birmingham team manager.
There's a couple of votes there for Emil.
Fred Graham says, "Can I give a shout?" I didn't know that they'd done this. I'll have to see if I can get a copy of it. Can I give a shout out to Discovery and Coverage? They show the main meeting and also every race from Birmingham last night. The Birmingham meeting was the better of the two, so massive shout to Birmingham track staff for putting out a track that riders could actually race on. Yeah, I mean, a lot of that credit has got to go also to Terry, the track, and to John as well. So you know, that they did the actual track. We just got the water off, essentially. But yeah, I didn't know that they'd done that. If I'd known they did that, I would have recorded that.
Well, if you can get it on the Discovery app, then you can watch it back. So.
I can't believe we're up to date. Oh, this is going along. So a big score for Leicester last night as well. Shall we actually have a look at the tables?
I've got the tables in front of me.
Fantastic.
So at the moment, Leicester live in the top league.
Okay.
Ipswich are still top of the league on 18 points from 10. Bellevue 17 from 11. Sheffield 14 from 8. Leicester 11 from 9. Oxford 11 from 10. Birmingham 6 from 10. And Kingston, obviously, with that points deduction, 1 from 8.
So the big and obvious question there is, can Birmingham now turn their season around enough with the acquisition of Freddie Lindgren that we could overhaul some of those in front of us?
It's a possibility. Looking at the Birmingham team,
it was a big night for us last night, getting that bonus point, wasn't it?
Obviously, we don't know who the rider that's going to make way for Freddie is. I mean, certainly they could be a team that they may not get in the top for themselves, but they could certainly spoil another team's chance of getting in there. The key thing for Birmingham, for me now, for the rest of the season, is they've got to win all the home matches. You know, away matches, I think you can sort of. Anything you pick up away from home is bonus, but I think a team is all you've got to
get the bonus points. If we get the aggregate points, that's going to be key as well.
You've got to be winning. You've certainly got to be winning your home matches. You can't really afford to be losing too many of them. And Birmingham have lost 2 home matches so far. Is it Leicester and Oxford? So
yeah. So I was just laughing at Pete's comment. Apparently, I soaked up most of the water with my overalls. So that's not far off the truth either. I weighed twice as much by the end of the night as I did when I got there. The thing that we should also point out with Birmingham is, well, of course, we're in the semi-finals of the Knockout Cup.
Yeah, that's not bad, is it?
That's not bad.
Not winning the match. So. Of course, we don't know who it's going to be yet. That one obviously will be decided on Thursday. Mm-hmm. Still on a knife edge, that one. That is obviously in the predictions. So I think Leicester are 6 points down, but Ipswich, of course, are going to be a little bit vulnerable. So, but maybe it might be Leicester.
Who knows?
I get the impression that the preference would be Ipswich.
Well, to see him also Saifoot enough riding, and possibly Jason Doyle if he's fit.
If he's fit, yeah.
If he's fit.
Whether he will be,
I'm not sure he will.
But of course, obviously Leicester as well. I mean, there'll be a little bit of a score to settle with Leicester because they obviously that was probably Birmingham's poorest performance of the season so far in the home match against Leicester. So.
Dave Twine says, don't forget you can watch highlights of last night's match on Quest tonight at midnight. No, I can't. I'll be asleep.
Okay, well, we'll have a look at the Championship now as well then.
Yes,
at the same time there. So Workington, what a start to the season they've had. Their top at the moment with 9 points from 6. Berwick 7 from 4. Poole 4 from 2. Oxford 2 from 2. Scunthorpe 2 from 1. Plymouth 2 from 3. Glasgow 2 from 2. Redcar haven't got a point from 4 matches, and Edinburgh, or at the bottom, no points from 2 matches. So again, that you can't really gauge too much from that league because you've got one team there working with 6 matches, and you've got Scunthorpe have had 1. So
yeah, you get the feeling that's all wide open at the moment. There's been some strange results in that league over the past couple of weeks.
Workington have been a bit of a surprise. I thought they would sort of. I did wonder whether maybe they jumped
too soon
back into professional racing, having ridden in the National League last season, but they've certainly made a good start so far. And I'm getting right. I've spoken to quite a few people who've been up to Workington there, and they're really, really impressed with the track. It's it's got to try and get up there.
They've done what I call a Somerset. They've just started with the track and then slowly.
Yeah, from what I can say, it's nice setting as well because it's right on the coast, and you can see the have to see from the track. So it looks like it's a really good place to go. It's somewhere that I definitely want to try and get up to. Whether it'll be this season, I don't know, but hopefully in the future.
Anthony Bailey says, not much, I presume he's talking about Birmingham here, not much track grading last night seemed to work in our favour. Also seemed to make for better racing as the meeting went on. Maybe it was just coincidence. No, there was no coincidence about that. They looked at the track and did what was necessary at the time.
There was a good crowd as well. I mean, obviously it was a bank holiday meeting, and I've got to say Ipswich brought quite a few fans over. It's a decent way from Ipswich, so even on a bank holiday.
We all thought Cookie and Batch would be not very good, and they're holding their own at the moment, says Duncan Pemberton.
Yeah, I think Craig Cook obviously going back to Workington. Obviously, he had a long association with them, didn't they, when they were at Derwent Park? So I think that's helped. That's certainly. And I think Craig Cook's a rider. I think if his head's in the right place, then he's very much still a
possibly older and wiser now.
Yeah, he's had some tough times, hasn't he, in recent seasons there. I mean, people know me and know that I'm not a great fan of Craig Cook, but certainly I wish him very well. It is good to see him sort of having going through a good spell at the moment, and I think that's reflected in his scoring. Yeah,
and Batch I think is living off his gating a little bit.
Yeah,
I mean nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that, but yeah. Okay, we've caught up again.
Okay. Well, we'll have a look at the National League then, because obviously we do get criticised for ignoring the National League on occasion. So we try not to.
Chris, I've told you to stop doing that.
Sorry.
Okay, so Leicester Lion Cubs, they are on 11 from 5. Oxford Chargers 7 from 3. Scunthorpe / Sheffield 2 from 2. Bellevue Colts nothing from 2. Edinburgh Academy nothing from 3, and Middlesbrough Tigers nothing from 3. So Leicester really the shining light again so far in the National League as they have been in recent times.
We saw it with Eastbourne when Eastbourne were in the National League, that tracks that have got a bit of a trick to them, is much more difficult for riders of that level to sort of get the head round, I think. And so I don't know whether Leicester are sort of doing well possibly as part is a part of why they do.
That was the case with Cradley as well, wasn't it? When they were riding at Mumba, I think a lot of riders went to Mumba and who were not very experienced, and it caught them out a little bit. I mean, Birmingham isn't a particularly difficult track to ride, I don't think, but that sort of, well, Birmingham generally had strong teams, didn't they? Particularly the one season when was it every meeting that they won? So
yeah, I like this by Fred Graham. Workington Comets is a must visit. Brilliant track, and every time I visit they have made an upgrade to the stadium. All clubs and councils that have had Speedway should visit to see how Speedway can be good for your area. I mean, I think that's a great positive.
Yeah, I'm wondering whether Mr. CVS has been up there to have a look. Obviously, bearing in mind he's looking for a new track in the Black Country. So whether it's going to be in the Black Country or whether it's going to be Staffordshire, I don't think it's going to be in Wolverhampton if there's a new track from what I've been told, but we'll see. So
okay, we need to go up a little bit higher. Did we finish?
Yes, we did.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay,
We did,
great.
yeah.
Does anyone know how the 3-tier Oxford teams are holding up crowd-wise? Always looks healthy on videos. I have no idea.
Yeah,
but
well,
if anybody
who's out there can tell us. It was a big gamble, but I think really from what we've heard, they sort of need to run a certain number of meetings to make it pay as part of the terms of the of their agreement with the landlords.
Yeah.
So
I've heard no bad problems,
Yeah.
rumours have coming from that area.
not that we've heard of, no. So
Reginald Barker, will Ipswich injuries impact their league title ambitions greatly? Well, possibly. It depends on length of time and recovery and all the rest of it. But that's Speedway.
yeah, that is. Yeah,
I can remember a Birmingham team we should have won in 2007, our first year.
2008 was the one, I think.
And 2007.
Yeah.
No,
So,
2008 was even worse. But 2007 we would have won if Hindry's right at the end hadn't impacted us. We definitely would have won that. The 2008, you can't really say. It was a great, strong team, but we never had the chance to find out.
No, I mean the injuries hit that team right from
13 riders
Yeah,
that
literally from the start of the season,
we had
didn't
injured. Almost 2 teams. Okay. Pete Clark says, if it's not in Wolverhampton, will it still be called Wolverhampton? I would have thought so.
Well, as I say, I mean there has been talk, and
I mean, Coventry wasn't actually in Coventry,
it was in
it?
rugby, wasn't it? Yeah.
So.
I mean, Chris Van Stratton did an interview a few weeks ago with the Express and Star, and he hasn't ruled out the prospect of maybe sharing a new stadium with Birmingham and Cradley if that comes to pass. But there lies the problem, because if the track's in, I don't know, Ettingshall, can you really call it Birmingham if it's in Ettingshall?
Can you call it anything if it's in Ettingshall?
Yeah.
Where the hell's Ettingshall?
Same, obviously, if it's in I don't know, Great Bar, can you call it Wolverhampton if it's running in Great Bar? So
yeah, I mean I would go and support a Birmingham team that rode on another track. If it's the only team that I've got, I would support it. You know, but I would do it because I can.
Yeah. It can't be too far out. I mean, I think back to when Cradley rode at Stoke. It was it only lasted a season. It was just too far for people to travel every single week. So
Oxford are getting quite a few from Swindon, and there's been some news pootling in from the Swindon area.
There has a little bit.
Well,
I'm a little bit wary about that, to be honest, because there's been a lot of talk about Swindon, and it's never seemed to have materialised. Unfortunately,
Is that a real word, putling?
Pootling. I think
it is now.
Yeah.
I've decided.
I like it.
This is a good shout, actually. Fred Graham. Remember the Ben Fund is at Workington on the Sunday after the Speedway of Nations.
Yep.
A great chance to visit Workington, and if we have a big crowd, it'll be a massive impact to the benevolent fund. I mean, that is a great shout.
Yeah, it's still obviously a developing place as well. I don't think they've got any floodlights yet, which hence the reason that they start their meetings at 3 o'clock on a Saturday. So.
Duncan Pemberton, I'm that old. I watched Big Arthur, Phil Horn, Chalky White and company back in 74, 75.
Right, he's older.
Yep, me too.
Older
Old as you as well.
Yeah.
I didn't think anyone was old as you.
I'll have words later. Edinburgh aren't in Edinburgh, and Eastbourne weren't in Eastbourne.
Armadale's about 20 miles outside of Edinburgh, I think, so it's...
So it's doable. It's all doable.
Yeah.
But
It's not quite the same as being in the centre, though, is it? So,
no, it's not.
unfortunately needs must, so...
No, it's not. And It's such a shame that Birmingham can't get a foot-toe-hold in the old wheels project, because that's perfectly situated close to the city centre and everything. But
You can keep wishing.
yeah, always.
It's not going to happen, I don't think.
It ain't
So.
gonna happen.
Never
No,
give
it
up.
ain't gonna
Never give up.
Well, the time is coming up. He's just gone 1:45, so we ought to get on with our.
We absolutely should get on with the prediction league, guys. Yes.
So there's the table.
I'm anxious to get on with this.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought you might be.
And there is the table.
Oh, dear.
Where are you, Chris?
So don't worry about me.
Yeah, where are you,
I'm
Chris?
doing quite nicely.
Okay,
Quite
21.
nicely.
Yeah.
6 points behind you. That's not really in grand scheme of things.
Yeah, there's more than 6 people
We
between
do
you
have
and
a
me.
new leader, don't we, Matt?
Yep. Dave Twine.
Well done, Dave.
Ah, well done. You got 3 greens.
Yep.
You got
Back to back.
Oxford, Bellevue, Sheffield. I can't read that without my glasses.
Yeah.
I don't think I can't make it any bigger. Oh, I can make it a little bit bigger. There we go.
There's still no clearer.
Yeah, Sheffield, Leicester.
Sheffield,
Leicester,
of
and
course.
Workington, Oxford.
You got all those right.
So
Oh, look at that. The Book family in 3rd and 4th. And then we have to go right down to
joint 9th at the moment. So
I'm happy with that.
54 points.
I'm getting a nosebleed.
yeah. We'll have to doss it round the bottom for the last 2 or 3 seasons. Then.
I believe it's my shout this week, isn't it?
I must have
To
been copying
start.
the wrong people.
Yep.
Yeah, that's about about the short and small of it.
Yeah, we'll start off then in the Championship on tomorrow night. It's Oxford against Edinburgh.
Okay. That's up to me. Oxford by 12.
Oxford by 12 as well.
I better go Oxford by 10.
Okay.
You can go Edinburgh if you want to.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Poole against Berwick is the next one, also in the Championship.
I'm sorry, I've got to do this. Dave Twine's give us the definition of pootle. To move or travel without any hurry.
Oh, thank you.
There you go. Thank you for that,
Well,
Dave.
we've got one intelligent person on the set box then.
Yep. Poole against Berwick is the next one in the
Okay.
Championship.
Yep, it's up to you.
Poole by 12.
Paul by 14.
Pool by 8.
Okay. Well, I'm sure there'll be many Birmingham fans keeping the close eyes on this one. Knockout Cup, second leg of the quarter-final, Ipswich against Leicester.
That's up to me.
And Leicester are 6 points down from the first leg. So,
Ipswich by 12. I can't say Ipswich.
Ipswich. I'll say Ipswich by... I'll go 10.
I'll go Ipswich by 8.
Okay.
Sheffield against Birmingham.
I mean, I'd
also
like
on
it to
Thursday
be the
night.
other way around in a way, because I think we've got more chance against Leicester than Ipswich again, but and they'll be up for revenge.
Yep. Sheffield against Birmingham is the next one.
Why do I get this one? I'm not going to get too carried away by last night. It was a great meeting, but they were there to be taken.
Yeah. Totally different proposition tomorrow.
Yeah, but there are a lot of riders riding for their place as well. That makes a difference. So I'm going to say Sheffield by 10, and I would actually take that.
I'll go Sheffield by 14.
I'll go Sheffield by 12.
Okay. So on to Friday. In the Championship, it's Scunthorpe against Redcar.
That's up to you.
Scunthorpe by 6.
Scunthorpe by 10.
Scunthorpe by 4. For some reason, I don't know why.
Okay. Also on Friday is the Scottish Derby, Edinburgh against Glasgow.
That's up to me, is it?
Mm-hmm. Oh, be careful.
Yeah. which one of the two Scottish giants are you going to upset tonight?
I'll go Glasgow by 6.
Draw.
I'll go Edinburgh by 4. Glasgow haven't had a great more than he can do of Edinburgh, to be fair. So.
But I just feel the whole passion of that could be a draw. That could.
Yeah. Okay. Redcar against Glasgow is the next one. That's on Saturday.
That's Mike.
Redcar by 6.
Redcar by 2.
Red car by 4.
How did I know you was going to say that?
Yep. Okay. Also on Saturday, Berwick against Scunthorpe.
That's up to you, Matt.
Berwick by 10.
I've never heard Matt sing again. Never do that again.
All right.
Sorry, who was it again? Sorry.
Berwick versus Scunthorpe.
Berwick by 8.
They've not had a bad start, have they, Berwick?
Yeah.
I'll say Berwick by 10 as well.
All right. Also on Saturday in the BSN, it is Plymouth against Poole, South Coast Derby.
Chris?
Paul by 6.
Poole by 2. No, I mean Plymouth by 2, I beg your pardon.
Oh, no, you can't do that. No,
I mean,
it's
yeah,
rule-
Plymouth by
isn't
2.
that rule 6 forward stroke 378?
Yeah, but it was compiled by the SCB, so we're allowed to change it.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot about that rule.
I will go for Poole by 4.
Okey-dokey.
Okay. Right, Monday, how are we going to do this one? Birmingham against either Leicester or Ipswich, so we'll take the...
Well, do we do both?
Yeah, I'll do both, and obviously the one that, as I say, I have put it on the post on Facebook there. But once we know the details on that one, then we will put that on there, and then we'll get people to put
Okay,
their
so
prediction in.
I've got it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Birmingham versus Leicester. I'm going to say Birmingham by 4.
Yeah.
And Birmingham against Ipswich, I'm going to say Ipswich by 6, unfortunately. Oh, no, hold on. We've got Freddie with us, aren't we?
Yep.
I'm going to say... We don't know who's going to be riding for Ipswich, of course, do
No.
we? I'm going to say Birmingham by 4.
Right. If it's Birmingham Leicester, I will go
So both by
for
4.
Birmingham by 6. If it's Birmingham against Ipswich, I will go for Ipswich by 2.
So we all feel then that this Freddie Lindgren coming back
Yeah,
is
Freddie. I
almost
think
like, is
Freddie
a
will
big
give
thing.
Birmingham
Yeah.
a big lift, I think.
I'll go the same as you, Matt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that because you don't want to spend
Yeah.
time?
Hold the
Because that-
horses.
that's- I can't-
Hold the horses. We need to go back to the Birmingham because Lawrence Rogers has given us some information. It's Birmingham versus Ipswich, either in Cup or League.
Ah,
So
right. Okay. Thanks, Lawrence.
thank you for that, Lawrence. So just the Ipswich
Okay.
result then. Okay.
Oh, that's easier.
Yeah.
Okay then. Right. Right. Where have I got to now? I've lost my place. Oxford v Leicester is the next one in the Premiership, so that's obviously a rerun of last night's meeting.
And that's up to you.
Oxford by 10.
Oxford by 14.
Oxford by 10. I wanted to go different to Matt, but it just feels right.
Yep. And finally, on Tuesday, Plymouth against Redcar.
Okay, that's up to you, Chris.
I'll go Plymouth by 6.
Plymouth by 10.
Plymouth by 2, I'll go for.
Okay. Dongerton Pemberton says Plymouth home meeting will obviously be off.
Well,
And Lawrence is reminding us that Freddie won the Swedish Championship tonight.
yeah, well done, Freddie.
Looks like he's won it twice in one night.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, well, is that good?
Yeah.
Is that
Okay.
it? Are we-
That-
have we-
I think,
That's it,
I
yeah.
think that's it, yeah.
And of course, we have got a Grand Prix on Saturday as well in Prague. So
Yeah, we ought to mention that, hadn't we?
Yep.
Birmingham have got a rider
they have, yeah.
in the Grand Prix for the. I mean, is he? He's
And a
not.
potential Grand Prix winner as well. Let's not forget.
Yeah.
Just before we go to that, Rider of the Night, Rider of the Week, you
Yeah, I mean, to me, from the meetings that I've watched, it's either going to be Tom Brennan or Emil Saifutinov. And Emil Saifutinov
Yeah,
was
I was going to go for Emil.
great.
oh
But
no, you got to pick one.
yeah, I'm going to go for Tom Brennan just because of where he is in his career.
Yeah, I'll go for Emil. I'll go
I
for
think
Emil.
that's
Yeah.
going to be quite close, then I'll have to add that up.
Yeah,
Unless
well,
we get a few.
if you get a draw, you give them half a point.
Okay. Yeah.
BSN are showing Sheffield versus Birmingham on Thursday. Also, the under-21 final is being shown at Glasgow on Friday. Leon is taking
Part in that one
part.
there, obviously, it would be remiss of us not to mention that one, the British Under-21 Championship.
Absolutely. Who do we think's going to win? I don't know who the lineup is. So it'd be
Looks like
Not to worry.
Tom Brennan's winning now, so there we go.
Duncan Pemberton, thanks for entertaining me for an hour, guys. You are welcome.
Who was?
Yeah. Yes. Apparently, this is entertainment from where Duncan comes from. The Grand Prix. So.
Yeah, Prague, of course. We've had two really good Grand Prix, of course, in Warsaw and Landshut, which I think was a bit of a pleasant surprise because I think we all had.
It really was, yeah.
Yeah, Prague's obviously going to be an interesting couple of fish because
the under-21 final is on Sunday and not Friday.
Yeah. Okay. So, big question, I suppose. Obviously, is going to be whether Jason Dawes going to race in it because obviously he's had a great start to the season. He's going to be very reluctant to miss it. He may well ride through the pain barrier to ride in that one. So, but Bart Smarslick, of course, without being particularly dominant in any of the Grand Prix, has managed to get himself back to the front, albeit not by a lot, to be fair. So,
it's not been a great series for Freddie so far.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the reasons why he's decided to come back to Britain. I think he needs to be racing more. He's obviously had issues over the last few seasons, of course, with the long COVID and things like that. But he's obviously in a better place now. Hence the.
He's second in the world, so I mean, we know he can do it.
Yep, that's right. So, and I would imagine there'll be a fair few fans coming over from Wolverhampton maybe on Monday to see Freddie return. Freddie obviously a club legend at Wolverhampton, so.
I hope so. I mean, I have heard a few people on the different forums and so on say, "Oh, I'm a Wolverhampton supporter. I'm coming down to see Freddie." So that's.
So how long was he at Wolverhampton?
He had a testimonial in 2013. So right, okay. I think he first joined us 2003. Seems it's over 20 years ago now. That's terrifying. That is. And rode for us until 2017. So 13, 14 years he had at Wolves, but. I think fourth highest point scorer for the club. He did overtake Ollie Olsen towards the end of his Wolves career. There's only Sam the Carlsons and Ronnie Corrie in front of him. So again, that sort of shows the longevity of a lot of those.
How old is he now?
Is he 39? 39. He's 39 this year. So
Simon Corbett says with no sort of back up to it, so they must have a reason for saying this. Doyle can't ride here. Yeah. Which is a shame. Who's the first reserve?
I'm not sure of the first reserve. We're supposed to check on that, weren't we? So
somebody out there will tell us.
We should know these things, really, shouldn't we? So.
Somebody out there will tell us that they are our knowledge, after all.
Thanks for the kind words as well, Brian Johnson.
So let's choose who's going to win the GP. Are you going to go for?
I'll go for Jack Holder.
Okay, who are you going to go for?
I was thinking of going for Jack Holder.
Yeah, because
that's what I've just said.
Before he said that, I was going to go for that one. Yeah, definitely was.
Do you know he's been there or thereabouts all year? I'm going to say Robert Lambert's.
Or him. It could be one of them.
I'm going to say Robert Lambert. But I hope anyway. Dave Twine says it says online that Wolves was his first ever club.
It was his first British club, yeah.
I mean, he is a Wolves rider. Riding for Birmingham, I think we should acknowledge that.
Yeah,
and it's. Do you know what? As a Birmingham supporter, I'm happy to sort of help Wolverhampton fans get their Speedway fixed while they're looking for a venue. And really hope that they get one. It's sort of, if I was going to have a second club, which I don't, if I was going to have one, it would probably be.
It wouldn't be Cridley then, sir. It wouldn't be.
Right. Put anybody out there. Was there anybody out there that Cridley would be their second club?
You can't have a second club.
I did say if I had a second club.
Nobody should have a second club.
Yeah.
Anyway,
only in Speedway.
There we go.
There you go.
We're done.
Okay, well, that's the end of the night. I can't believe how quick that's come.
Good show.
A big thank you once again to our sponsors, So-Called Studios. You can check them out by looking online. Simon Corbett says Schmarslick.
Possibility.
To win the GP, obviously. Take care, everyone. Hope the rain stays away from your track for yet another week, and we'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Welcome to the Speedway Tavern. Enjoy your stay.